I think, quite honestly, this is one of the biggest, if probably the biggest, failures of national media in America.
What we do know is that human trafficking is a $9.8 billion industry in this country alone. We know that the number of minors trafficked each year is in the six figures. It's over 100,000
Wow.
annually. We know that the average age of a girl who is trafficked is 13 years old. That's the average age. Now, think about what that means. That means there are girls older than that, and there are girls younger than that, as if 13 weren't young enough. That's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. We also know that human trafficking through the period of COVID has risen 185%. January of 2020 versus 2021, 185% rise. That's almost 3 times as much human trafficking as there was last year in that month, as if that were a small number, and it's not. We did a story that came out today about an organization called Streetlight USA, which is based in Phoenix. And Streetlight USA has been around for about 12 years, and they're saving about 100 girls a year, over 1,300 girls so far. Wow. They're what they call their target area, their demographic are girls 13 to 19 years old, so teens who have been human trafficked. They work with these girls to help bring them out of that life, to help them deal with that trauma. As you can only imagine what that's like. What I'd love to see everybody watching this do, I'm going to read you the title of the story we published. Don't remember it, because I'm going to show you an easier way to get to it. So you don't have to write this down or anything. But our story was teen forced to recruit girls. Think about that for a minute. Teen forced to recruit girls for ex-traffickers has new life thanks to Christian organization. Now, this story is easy to find. You go to westernjournal.com, go to the upper right hand. Our search function is terrible. We're fixing that. We're actually going to launch within about a week or 10 days. We'll have a new function there. But go to westernjournal.com, click on the upper right where it says sections, and that'll bring up a search bar. Just search the word teen, T-E-E-N. It's really easy to find. This will be the first story that comes up. At least today it is. And what it is a profile of an organization called Streetlight USA. Streetlight USA is Phoenix-based. They deal with these girls. And I just want to, I'm not going to read from our story. It's a short story. It's a great profile of this organization. You should go and read every word of it. Our own Samantha came and wrote it. It's just a great piece. It's a great piece. It might be the best piece we published this month. But I want to read a short quote from the CEO of Streetlight USA and to explain kind of how she got into this Christian ministry. This is what she said, and this is from her from the website, the organization's website. Her name is Sky Steele, which might be the coolest name I've ever heard.
Cool.
Sky with an E at the end, Steele with an E at the end. If she weren't a superhero because of what she's doing, she'd be a superhero anyway, just because that's a superhero name. Here's the quote. I'll never forget my first time coming face to face with child sex trafficking. I was on a Phoenix Police Department ride-along into some of the darkest parts of our city. The police lieutenant's name was Jackie, and she's a good friend to this day. She had reached out to me for help with a rise in trafficked children that the police were seeing. At that time in our city, the police were picking up trafficked girls out on the streets who were 12, 13, or 14 years old, and there's nowhere to take them to get the healing from trauma that they needed. That's how she got into this. Our story includes some details about this young lady who was rescued from this life, and it's just as hard and as sad as so much of this is. There is a nice story of redemption in here as well, and you should really go read it for yourself, guys. Why is no one else talking about this? Why, I mean, we all are familiar with the phrase human trafficking. Why is it that we're not seeing profiles of organizations like this? We're not seeing these numbers. When I did just a little research today and saw 100,000 U.S. children annually, how is that not that top headline every day on every newspaper across the country?
I think, quite honestly, this is one of the biggest, if probably the biggest, failures of national media in America. One of the things that I love about working at the Western Journal is we don't cover stories that we know are just going to get clicks. We cover
Yeah.
stories because they matter and because they need to be covered and people need to see them. And I think that's one thing that makes us different. We're not always just looking for the most attractive headline or what's going to go viral on Facebook, because we care about people. We are Christians that work here. And the national media isn't like that. They're looking for the most attractive headline. What's going to make them the most money? And there's a deep cultural problem in America where Americans, it seems like, don't care about issues like this.
Yeah.
And that's disturbing to me. And it's sad. It's heartbreaking.